Question number 4. In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real-life media products? To establish how my media products challenged, used or developed real-life media products, I'm going to use the method of migraine. M is for media language. To create the right kind of mise-en-scène, I used long shots at the beginning and then short, fast edits in the middle. I also chose to use lots of long establishing shots at the beginning to emphasise Megan's isolation, and then lots of high-angle shots and low-angle shots to emphasise her power as the villain. Initially, I wanted to use a soundtrack that my target audience could relate to, so I looked at using artists such as Young Guns and Placebo, but then when I showed it and previewed it to my class, they said they didn't really fit, so I looked into composers such as John Williams and Bernard Herrmann to see what kind of music was related to horror products that were already existing. I is for institutions. If my trailer was going to be made into a real film, I think that one institute that would be interested in taking on would be Film 4, because they've made independent films such as On the Road, 127 Hours and Trainspotting. So I don't think they'd be afraid to take a risk on the twist that I've put on the horror movie genre. G is for genre. I tried to interweave the horror genre into my main product and ancillary text as much as possible by using the three main colours red, white and black. When I looked at other products that were already out in the market, I found that these three colours were predominant in the horror genre. R is for representation. In my trailer, I chose to use three girls, one conforming to the role of the last girl standing, which you usually find in horror films, such as Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, or Sarah Michelle Gellar in The Grudge. And then I also chose to have your typical blonde damsel, such as Drew Barrymore in Scream. I think that using these representations in my own trailer makes my work more relatable to things in the real world. However, one thing that does differ in my product to things in the real world is that the last girl standing I chose to use, Megan, is also actually the killer, which is one thing you wouldn't suspect when you cast the last girl standing. I drew inspiration for this from the character of Lady Lesnicki in Jennifer's Body. A is for audiences. In my horror trailer, I chose to have two primary audiences, males aged 15 to 24 and female audiences who liked intellectual pleasures. I drew in the male audience by going over the theory of the male gaze by choosing to use attractive young women, and I drew in the female audience with intellectual puzzles by using lots of enigmas to hint what might happen in the film, but they're not entirely sure, so they have to go and see it. N is for narrative. I think that within my trailer there is a clear sense of narrative that relates to real-life trailers. I looked closely at Freytag's Triangle and Tudor's Sphere of Equilibrium, and I think that we do go from a state of equilibrium to a state of resolution with a climax in the middle. I was able to do this by using lots of long shots at the beginning of the trailer and then lots of short shots in the middle to create that sort of climactic tension which I was looking for.